Lung cancer is a debilitating diagnosis to receive, and its effects reach from the patient to the family. Writing this paper was a very personal journey for me, as my father was diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer in March of 2014. Lung cancer is the most fatal cancer in the United States, causing more deaths than the next 3 common cancers combined. Lung cancer is also the most common cancer in the world, causing 1.6 million deaths and amassing 1.8 million new diagnoses in 2012 alone. Because it impacts so many people, lung cancer costs the United States about $12.1 billion, and that isn't including any financial losses from productivity loss. The 5-year survival rate for lung cancer depends on the stage of tumor diagnosis and ranges from 54% for stage 1 down to only 4% for stage 4, which is the stage my father falls in. Since he was never a smoker, I was curious as to where he could have been exposed to the carcinogenic substances that would have caused his cancer. My father is employed at a remanufacturing facility where he works on rebuilding diesel engines. As I began to look further into the available evidence for this paper, I found that occupational environmental exposure to diesel exhaust has shown a causal link with lung cancer in railroad workers, miners, truck drivers, bus drivers, mechanics, firefighters, heavy equipment operators, and garage workers, including my dad. The EPA and the International Agency for Research on Cancer have both identified diesel exhaust as carcinogenic to humans. It could go even further to state that these occupational environments are a result of low socioeconomic status and reduced education when you begin to swim up the stream. However, the most startling information that I came across was that emission standards for industrial applications have been largely uncontrolled, and there is no federally set limit for diesel particulate matter. Basically, what this means is that companies are able to let their employees inhale large quantities of diesel exhaust without consequences. This is what I have decided needs to change. My intervention is federally based and very broad rather than locally because I feel like this is where the problem lies. The solution to reducing diesel exhaust exposure would have to be multiple stages to improve the safety of employees while maintaining the economic stability of their respective industries. To promote 100% compliance, any tasks that are not undertaken by the company would be subject to a fine for every day of noncompliance. Ideally, the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, or OSHA, would sponsor this project, as they are a federal agency with the ability to influence industrial America, with offices throughout the country at regional, state, and local levels that could influence the community. The last important component to this project is to include nurses that would have a trained eye and would be able to affect change. The first component of this project would be to start a petition for a federally permissible exposure limit for diesel exhaust. Influencing federal policy is a key for the success of this project. After initiating this petition, the next step would be including measuring levels of elemental carbon, which is a measure of diesel exhaust exposure at each facility. When a federally placed diesel particulate matter level was available, it would be used instead. A reading of over 8 micrograms of elemental carbon, which is the environmental exposure in the general population, will signal the need for N95 respirators while other measures are being implemented. The second phase of the plan would require the facility to complete one task of their choosing each year, should they be over the elemental carbon limit. The program would only require one task to be completed each year to make it financially possible for companies to comply and allot enough time to make the required changes throughout their facilities. Tasks that can minimize occupational exposure to diesel exhaust emissions include performing routine maintenance of diesel engines, installing engine exhaust filters, installing newer, cleaner burning diesel engines, installing diesel oxidation catalysts, using cleaner fuels or biodiesel, providing equipment cabs with filtered air, and upgrading ventilation systems to capture and remove emissions from indoor locations. Depending on the industry, some of these interventions will be more crucial than others, so it will be up to the discretion of the company and OSHA to decide which tasks to undertake each year in order to make this project a success. Hopefully, with the implementation of this project at a federal level, it will make sure that no other family has to go through a loved one being diagnosed with lung cancer due to occupational diesel exhaust exposure. This consequence is extremely preventable, and it's time it ends now.